Hello, welcome to Century Farmhouse. My name is Anne Marie Craig. As you can see, we've got a pretty sunny time right here at Century Farmhouse. All of a sudden the sun came out and things are kind of bright, but I'm going to be shifting this camera in a minute to get rid of the sun. But I wanted to say hello to you and welcome you to where I live at Century Farmhouse area. So that's the yard, that's actually the view from the kitchen. But what I'm here to do today is to spend a little bit of time with you showing you how I make my spring wreaths. I just took a little walk out to, actually my sister owns the land now, but it's what we called the back 40 when I was growing up. And there's a beautiful wildlife pond back there and lots and lots and lots of pussy willows growing around it, and it's springtime, and we have kind of a chaotic world right now. We just need to get out, and I needed to get out of the house, so I decided to go out and get some pussy willows and bring them back and do some things with them. So I want to share with you how I'm going to be dressing up my springtime wreath that I'd like to put on my door. The rest of the pussy willows will go into a pretty vase and live on my kitchen table for the next few weeks. So here we go. I need to actually get this set. Give me just a second. Okay, there we go. Now, sorry about that. All right, so I picked a bunch of pussy willows and red dogwood, and I'm going to take these and just dress up the wreath I made last year. If you scroll back into my blog to centuryfarmhouse.com, to last year about this time, I made a pretty wreath with willow pieces and pussy willows, things I picked up on a walk out around the farm, and dressed it up and put it up on my door. I also then, as time went on throughout the seasons, pulled off what was there, put on more, and this actually became a winter Christmas wreath by the time we got to November and December. But it looks a little bit shabby. I'm going to clean up a little bit on it and add some more. So I'm just going to snip some of these off and out, some of these little bits, to make it look a little bit cleaner and neater. When you first make your wreath, you're going to want to soak the stems in some warm water, and that makes them very pliable and easy to work with. I did that last year. The wreath is already made, so now I'm just kind of cleaning it up a little bit. Let's see if I can get that out of there. There we go. So, this is not bad. We're going to go with it the way it is. Now, I have not soaked these. I just actually picked them, so they're still pretty flexible from having been picked. And I'm only actually going to dress it with a few of the pussy willow stems, and then I'm going to use the bulk of these in my kitchen in a pretty vase. So I'm going to set these aside for the moment and concentrate on the red dogwood. I wanted to add just a touch of red to this. This actually will brown up a little bit as the season goes on, but I'm going to tuck a few pieces in, and that's really all I do, is tuck them in, and we kind of weave them around into the wreath, fit them in where they could go. And you can actually leave pieces hanging out. That actually adds a little bit of interest as well. Sometimes I tuck them in so they're not hanging so much, but in this case I like that look. So we're going to add a little bit more to this. Sometimes I have these short little pieces on the stems. I'll take those off. And this stem is a little bit thick in here. I'm going to cut that a little smaller, and we'll add this in. Let's see if I can find a good spot to put that. Maybe right in here. And we'll follow the same line of weaving around as the other stems are from last year, and just incorporate this to make it part of the wreath. Actually, this might be kind of interesting hanging off right here. What can I tuck around that? How about this piece? We'll tuck that around, put that in, back in there, hold that on. So I have some pieces hanging off. That adds a little bit of interest. What piece shall I choose next? I think this one, because I love the fact that it's got a lot of pieces hanging off of it. I'm going to snip just a few, and again, put these in. I'm going to put these in from the back and bring them around the front. Sometimes you have to play with it a little bit to see what's going to work on your wreath and the look you're really looking for. So I want these to stick around the back a little bit. There we go. I could take some wire and hold those on, and I may. This piece looks like it's coming off. Actually, we're going to start this over again. This probably should have soaked. It's a little bit stiff because it's big. So sometimes you also have to play a little bit to see what's going to work. So let's see if we can get this in here. Could I wire this in? You bet. Am I kind of lazy to do that at the moment? You bet. So we'll just have this sticking out here like that. I like that look. And one more. Kind of bring this around. Oh, that one broke too. It's partly because I should have probably soaked them, but we're not going to worry about that. This wreath is kind of organically coming together. No matter how it ends up, it's going to be pretty, so I don't really mind if some of the stems are broken. I'll use them in a different bouquet. This one was broken too, that's right. Did you ever have that happen to you? You think you're going to do it and it doesn't quite turn out the way you want? But I think this is going to be pretty no matter what we end up with here. I'm going to tuck this in a couple places in the back. There we go. So I have these pieces sticking off and out, and I actually kind of like that look a little bit. It's just on one side, a little asymmetrical. And then I'm going to tuck in some pussy willows. Let those hang as well, a little bit more asymmetrically. I'll wind those stems in. Tuck them through to hold them in. Another one. One of the things about making nature art, if you will, for your home is that things are never exactly perfect, but they're never exactly perfect in nature either. I'm going to use an odd number because it adds a little bit more interest, makes you look a little bit more. Your eye kind of naturally goes to look for an odd number. Let's see, where can we stick this one in here? How about right in here? And we'll tuck it under here and over the top here. There we go, an interesting spring wreath, and it's ready to hang as far as I'm concerned. I could add a big bow on here, and I may, but I actually kind of like this wreath. So here we go. Interesting, don't you think? And then these pretties are going to go on my kitchen table. Now, we are in a time of chaos here in the United States, and things are just starting here, unfortunately, with all of the infections. So our stores, I expect, will have fewer things in them, more things that are important, probably less likely to have flowers. I don't know how often I'm going to get to the store in the coming weeks, but if I happen to go and I happen to find some daffodils, these would be so pretty in a vase with daffodils, and I hope to do that, but if not, by themselves, they just shout spring, and I'm excited about that. So thanks for joining me. I hope you have a chance to get outside. If you're in the country, I can find some pussy willows, or as time goes on, some pretty spring flowers. Enjoy looking at them even if you can't take them home. Take care.